"Hey, that car looks absolutely perfect for my daughter. Honestly, I think you should just give it to us." Those were the very first words Karen ever said to me, and I swear, for a second, I thought I misheard her completely. My jaw nearly dropped right there in the parking lot. Just imagine this. You walk out of a grocery store carrying a couple of bags, minding your own business, only to see a total stranger slowly circling your car like a predator sizing up its next meal. That's exactly what I walked into. A middle-aged woman wearing oversized sunglasses stood there casually tapping her long acrylic nails against the hood of my freshly cleaned sedan, as if she already owned it. I froze for a moment, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. She didn't look embarrassed. She didn't look confused. There was no awkwardness at all. No. She looked completely entitled, like the decision had already been made in her mind and all that was left was for me to comply. "Excuse me," I said, still thinking maybe I misunderstood what she meant. She casually adjusted her sunglasses, glanced at me like I was the one interrupting her, and said, "This is exactly the kind of car my daughter should be driving. It's clean, safe, and looks practically brand new. She just got her license, and frankly, she shouldn't be behind the wheel of anything less." At first, I honestly thought she had to be joking. I mean, who actually walks up to a stranger and demands their car like that? But her face didn't change, not even slightly. Before I could even react properly, she added, "You look young. You can easily get another one. Just tell me how much you want for it. Or better yet, think of it as doing a favor for someone who truly needs it." That's when I felt my patience starting to wear thin. "Ma'am," I said firmly, "this is my car. It's not for sale. Please step away." But Karen clearly wasn't the type to accept no for an answer. She crossed her arms, puffed herself up, and snapped. "Don't be selfish. My daughter deserves good things. If you weren't so self-centered, you'd understand that." At that point, I just wanted to get into my car and leave. But she was standing way too close, practically blocking the driver's side door. People nearby had started noticing. Some were staring. Others were whispering, probably trying to figure out what kind of bizarre situation they were witnessing. And then Karen said something that took everything to another level. Something that would turn this strange encounter into a full-blown disaster. "If you're not going to hand it over," she said sharply, "then maybe I should call the police. Because honestly, I don't think someone like you actually owns a car like this." That's when it hit me. This wasn't just weird anymore. This was about to get serious. The moment those words left her mouth, I felt my stomach tighten. She had crossed a line. This wasn't just entitlement anymore. She was threatening to involve the police over something that was clearly mine. "Go ahead," I said, trying to stay calm. "Call them. I'd really like to hear how you explain this." Instead of backing off, she smirked as I had just walked straight into her plan. She pulled out her phone, flipped her hair dramatically, and said loudly, "Hello, police? Yes, there's a suspicious man here with a car that I don't believe belongs to him. He's acting aggressively, and I feel unsafe." The way she twisted the story so effortlessly made my stomach turn. A couple of people nearby started looking at me differently, like they were unsure whether I might actually be guilty of something. That's exactly what she wanted. An audience. People would instinctively believe her because she sounded so confident. I didn't argue. I didn't move. I knew that reacting emotionally would only make things worse, so instead, I leaned against my car, crossed my arms, and waited. About 10 minutes later, flashing lights pulled into the parking lot. Karen's smile widened instantly as she had already won. 2 officers stepped out of the patrol car, 1 male and 1 female. Karen rushed toward them as if they were her personal backup. "Officers, thank goodness you're here," she said quickly. "This man is trying to claim this car as his. My daughter needs it, and I'm certain he's lying about owning it." The male officer raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, are you saying you believe this car belongs to you?" "Yes," she said confidently, pointing directly at me like I was some kind of criminal. "Look at him. Does he really look like someone who could afford a car like this?" The female officer turned to me. "Sir, is this your vehicle?" Without saying much, I calmly reached into my pocket, pulled out my key fob, and pressed the unlock button. The car responded instantly. Lights flashed, the horn chirped, the doors unlocked smoothly. Then I took out my license and registration and handed them over. "Everything matches," I said. "Registration, insurance, all of it. You can verify." The officers reviewed the documents, then looked back at Karen. Her confident expression had already begun to crack. "Ma'am," the male officer said, "what made you think this vehicle belonged to you or your daughter?" Karen hesitated. "Well, it's just obvious he doesn't really need it. And my daughter, she deserves something better." That's when the female officer's expression completely changed. The tone shifted instantly. The situation Karen thought she controlled was slipping away fast. "So let me understand this," the female officer said slowly, folding her arms. "You called us here because you think this car should belong to your daughter, not because it was stolen." Karen blinked, clearly losing confidence. "Well, yes, I mean, it should be mine or hers. Just look at it. There are too many cars for him. Why shouldn't it go to someone who would actually appreciate it?" The male officer glanced at me like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. I just shrugged, because honestly, I didn't believe it either. "Ma'am," the female officer said firmly, "that is not how ownership works. This man has provided valid documentation. This vehicle legally belongs to him." Karen's face twisted with anger. "So you're just taking his side? You don't even know him. My daughter deserves this car. She's been through so much. Don't you think she deserves something nice for once?" The officer didn't react. "Deserve has nothing to do with it," she replied. "Ownership does. And right now, you are very close to filing a false police report. Do you understand how serious that is?" The word serious hit her hard. For the first time, fear flickered in her eyes. But instead of backing down, she tried to brush it off. "Oh, come on. I was just trying to do something good for my daughter. What's the harm in asking? He could have just been generous." "Generosity isn't something you force," the male officer said firmly. "You accuse this man of not owning his car, suggested criminal behavior, and called the police over it. That's harassment." By now, the people watching weren't even pretending anymore. Some shook their heads. One person even muttered, "Unbelievable." Karen heard it. Her face flushed red. She wasn't the hero she imagined herself to be. She was the problem. But instead of stopping, she pushed even harder. "You don't get it," she snapped. "My daughter is special. She can't drive some cheap old car. She needs something safe, reliable, and modern. And why shouldn't she have this one? He looks like the kind of person who can just buy another tomorrow." That was enough. The female officer closed her notepad and said firmly, "Ma'am, unless you want to continue this conversation at the station, I strongly suggest you step away from this vehicle immediately and stop harassing its owner." Karen's lips trembled. For the first time, she realized she wasn't in control anymore. But something told me. She still wasn't going to walk away quietly. Karen's confidence finally cracked. But instead of stepping back, she made one last desperate attempt. She brought her hands together, looking at the officers with a fake, pleading expression. "Please, officers, just think about my daughter. She's a good girl. She deserves so much better than what she has right now. Isn't it your responsibility to protect people like her? To make sure she gets what she needs?" The female officer's expression hardened immediately. "Our responsibility is to enforce the law," she replied firmly. "And at this moment, the only person breaking it is you. Do you understand that you just admitted to calling us under pretenses? That is a crime." Karen gasped dramatically as if the word crime was completely unacceptable to her. "I didn't mean it like that. You're twisting everything I said. I was just trying to negotiate." The male officer stepped forward slightly. "Negotiating means asking respectfully. You lied to emergency services. You attempted to pressure someone into giving up their own property. That's not negotiation, that's harassment and fraud." Karen's daughter, who had been sitting awkwardly in a nearby car the entire time, finally stepped out. She looked completely embarrassed. "Mom, please stop. This is so humiliating. I don't even want his car. Let's just leave." Karen dismissed her with a wave of her hand. "Sweetheart, be quiet. Mommy is doing this for you." The girl's face flushed bright red as she muttered softly, "Not like this." She quietly retreated into the car, clearly wishing she could vanish. The officers exchanged a glance before giving Karen one final warning. "You need to leave immediately. If we receive another complaint about behavior like this, you will be charged." For the first time, Karen seemed completely speechless. Her mouth opened and closed repeatedly, but no words came out. Finally, with an angry huff that sounded more defeated than proud, she turned sharply and marched back toward her car. Just before getting in, she turned and shot me a glare. "You'll regret this. My daughter deserved that car more than you ever will." I didn't respond. I simply got into my car, started the engine, and let the sound drown out everything she said. The officers gave me a reassuring nod. "You're good to go, sir. Sorry you had to deal with that." As I drove away, I glanced in my rearview mirror and saw Karen inside her car, still arguing furiously with her daughter. That's when it really sank in. This was never about me or the car. It was about her entitlement, her belief that the world owed her and her family whatever they wanted. But this time, reality didn't bend. Thanks to the officers, she finally faced that truth. Guys, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more wild Karen and HOA stories. Your support truly means a lot and keeps me motivated to bring you more content like this.